So now the donor has had the two devices in the mouth for around 5 minutes, and you can see that in the little hole there on the window it's blue colour. That means there's enough saliva on the pads to run the test. So if we put the first one down and take the vial, just pop it open. If we there's some little arrows here, so if we just push that down and extend the pad out at the end of the device, and we put that in there, and we tip, the pad now leaves the device and falls into the bottom of the container, so we snap that up and we repeat the process with the other vial. So now we have the two collection pads inside the transit vials. And now what we need to do is go back to the chain of custody form and take the tamper-proof evidence seals that have been signed and dated by the donor. We take the first one. These are a little bit awkward if you're wearing gloves, but take your time with this. So this first tamper-proof evidence seal has the letter B on, so we just place the letter B on top of the vial and then fold that down either side. Let me take the other tamper-proof evidence seal and place the letter A over the top of the vial. Once again, fold that down either side. It's really important when you do these that the tamper-proof evidence seals aren't ripped or torn. If they are, when they're received by the lab, the laboratory will just simply inform you they can't run the test because the chain of custody has been broken. So we now open up the transport pots and we slide each one of the vials on each of those. So one in there and one in there. We now come back to the chain of custody form, and along the top are some barcodes. We take two of those, and we just place one on each of the pots there. And there. We're now going to put the two pots inside the bag. It's going to go off to the laboratory. Then we're going to take the top copy of the chain of custody form, and it tells you on the bottom of the form exactly what should happen with each copy. So the top copy, the white copy, is a laboratory copy. So we're going to take it off, and I always like to double check this to make sure it's all been signed by the donor and the collection officer and everything is in order with the form. I'm going to fold that up. I'm going to place that in the bag with the two transport pots. Take the seal off the top, stick that down. That's now ready to go into first class postage for the laboratory. The pink copy is the donor copy, so you can give a copy of that to him or them. If they decide that they want to get their own sample tested, all the details of the laboratory are at the bottom of the form. They just contact the laboratory and they will release one of the samples to a laboratory of the donor's choice. So we give that to the donor. The blue copy and the green copy. So the blue copy is the collector's copy, the green copy the employer's copy, and normally they'd stay together. And what I like to do is to take our initial donor consent form when we've done the first line instant test, and I staple that to the chain of custody form so that all the consent forms are now in one place. And that's how to conduct a chain of custody test for oral fluid and send it off to the laboratory.